valued stakeholders of the gaming ecosystems, valued guests, and we are again experiencing a first in the Yıldız Technical University with the support of Istanbul Development Agency. GamesUP is starting within the Technopark, and this is a first in Turkey, and I would like to welcome you all to this event. Dear guests, as you know, the gaming industry is improving rapidly all around the world, and when you take a look at the last 5 years, the number of gamers, the number of games, and also the commercial value has reached amazing sizes. It was $95 billion, now it's going over $160 billion. This is not just in the world, this is also the case in Turkey. Every year, the game and the gamer numbers are increasing, and the incomes are improving. It is about to go over $1 billion in Turkey as well. And within this competition, now there is an international competition in the gaming industry, and with including these past 5 years, and in the next 5 years, an industry that is developing so quickly. What can we expect? What can we dream about? Now we are going to listen about these topics from the experts in the field. And of course, within these 5 years, in the Yıldız Technopark and Yıldız Technical University has also added a lot of value because they included gaming companies inside them, and they have also supplied their support to this growth. And before that, I would like to give a little bit information before our speeches. We are going to have our speeches at first, then we will have two panels. Through our journey in the gaming industry, where can we be in the global gaming industry? What kind of innovations can we do? So our speakers will be talking about these subjects, and between two panels we will have a game match. We believe it will be very exciting. Now, for their speech, I would like to give the stage to Orhan Tanışman, the General Director of Technopark. Director and valued academicians and the members of the press and members of our Technopark, dear students and guests, welcome all. We have started with a press announcement at the morning, and it was a great atmosphere, and hopefully we will be able to show you the dynamism of the gaming industry. In our center in the Technopark, we have a meeting, and hopefully this will be a start of long years of collaborations. Dear guests, digital games are interesting to everybody, and as our friend also to talk about these numbers, and it is expected that it will go over $200 billion in 2023, and the biggest share will be taken by the mobile games. This number, of course, as you know, the music industry is bigger than gaming right now, but this is going to be 3 times larger than the movie industry in the cinema, so the gaming industry is increasing. 1/3 of the income is coming from the console games, and in 2025 it is expected to reach $100 billion. Globally, there are about 3.24 billion gamers, and in Vietnam, Nigeria, Philippines are the countries with the most adult gamers. When we take a look at Turkey, we see that 35 innovations in gaming are receiving amazing investment, and we are seeing about $704 million of investment being made. And with the 5G technology, we realize that new innovations will be made in the game development. Within this IT age that we are going through, as Yıldız Technopark, we are following the improvements and we are using our info and experience to be able to catch up with the world. And we realize that there is creative young entrepreneurs, and also the gaming ecosystem is one of the industries that are growing the most. And the gaming worlds are usually criticizing us because we are wearing suits and ties, but today I'm not wearing that because this is what this environment requires. So hopefully we will be able to also be included in this environment of gaming. We are, of course, one of the leading technoparks in Turkey, and we have continued to beat that for 3 years, continuing, and hopefully our gaming companies will also be located in our technopark, and hopefully our will be a center for gaming industry, and that's what we also try to talk about in the morning, and we are doing whatever we can to make it possible. Our project named GamesUP is about creating their product, a program that is taking 18 months, reaching the market with their products and digital marketing and having collaborations with different dimensions and also trying different business models and working on the human resources are the object of these projects. And as the Yıldız Techno Park, we will be a teammate with our entrepreneurs in our techno park, and we will definitely help that we will have more members, and we hope that we will be able to generate new unicorns, and with all of our might we will be with our entrepreneurs. We will follow global strategies closely, and we will be taking a look at the success stories, and we hope to change the balances in the gaming industry. As Technopark, we are expecting all the game developers to our GamesUP program. I would like to keep it short, and as our friends know about it, if I am in front of the microphone, I will keep on talking. But these professionals, these stakeholders from this ecosystem will be talking today. So that's why, while I'm finalizing my speech, writing their own success stories, sharing their project internationally, we will be talking about our entrepreneurs, and I would like to thank you all for joining us in this event. Dear General Director, thank you very much. Yes, maybe it will be showing our age, but in the 80s, maybe some of you might remember, or some of you might have seen it later, there was a cartoon called Jetsons, and it has been on TV in 80s. It was first developed in the 60s, but it was published in the 80s, and it was called 2062 in the year 2016 for visual calls and rockets, flying cars, jetpacks were what they had, and they could speak in their phones and their TVs, and they were thinking about what could happen in 2062. But technology is developing so rapidly that we didn't have to wait for the 2062, and the year that we are in currently actually is we are seeing that these things are becoming a reality in current times. There are so many technologies, we can find so many different things, and this is also this view on the gaming industry. Would it be able to grow that much? Where would it be stopping? And especially for mobile games, we have seen an enormous growth, and this will continue growing. This will reach unimaginable numbers. Of course, with these investments, the Istanbul Development Agency also has a big support, and both for the youth and for the investors, and all the projects and our projects in this event. Now, with your applause, Istanbul Development Agency General Secretary Erkan Tüzgar will be coming onto the stage. Thank you very much, esteemed director, academicians, dear guests, and everybody, the real heroes, the game innovators. I would like to salute you all with respect. As the development agency, since our founding, we are supporting the gaming industry, and this is a very young institution. It is only 10 or 11 years old, and as a young institution, one of the oldest universities of Turkey, the Yıldız Technical University, both receiving and coming together and receiving support from these institutions are very giving us hope. As the agency, we very much care about collaboration, and in Istanbul currently there is no institution that we didn't collaborate with that is working on investment and innovation. All the innovation centers and investment centers we have collaborated with, almost all we can say. Now we are trying to develop new innovative systems, and one of them will be at the start of January. One of the biggest consumer electronics expo in the world. We have started a stand as Istanbul, and we have taken 28 entrepreneurs from us. Now, of course, we hope to increase the number of innovators and entrepreneurs in that. And another innovation that we are supporting is one of the biggest needs of entrepreneurs in Istanbul is reaching capital. Of course, we are not able to reach an in big enough size as agency. We first tried to include about $210 million of investment, and we have talked about different institutions to ask them to invest more. We have increased that number to 400 million now, and one of the first funds and venture capital funds, the first condition we ask of them is that we want them to invest at least twice what we are investing to the entrepreneurs in Istanbul, because we hope to make it easier for our entrepreneurs to reach capital. So we are not working directly with entrepreneurs because we are acting that the way, because we know our place, because this is such an ecosystem that even the development agency will not be able to catch up with that dynamism. So we need a middleman. So that's why investment funds and, for example, Technopark in Yıldız Technical University or other structures are working with us, incubation centers, for example. That's the way we are investing our entrepreneurs. And another big need of the Istanbul's investment ecosystem is growing vertically. We have a lot of entrepreneurship centers, and from gaming to fintech to marine technologies, everything is trying to be developed. But now we need more specialized areas. We have to go deeper, and as agency, this project that we are supporting is a very important place for us, because gaming has a big pie in the investment ecosystem in Istanbul. It's not just the case for Istanbul, it is globally the case. And more than 2% of the games in the world has been developed by developers in Istanbul. This is an amazing number, because the most gaming studios in the world, the second most gaming studios, are in Istanbul. The first one is London, then the second one is Istanbul. This is amazing for Istanbul. It is a great success story, for example. So, what I would like to say also is, first of all, one of the reasons for the gaming industry for being this popular and growing this much, maybe people will talk about this later with the first one, but the second one, back in time, Semih Saygıner is a billiard player who is world famous, and he's talked about that billiards improve the person because you can't give any excuses, like wind or another thing. You have the stick in your hands, and everything that you do is dependent on you. And the gaming ecosystem is the same way. All the world are competing in a just ecosystem, and in these areas, our entrepreneurs are able to go forward and go beyond. And finally, what I would like to add is we first of all should target global companies, even if they weren't able to be starting globally, they should be able to transition globally because that's the only way to develop. We can't just focus on the Turkish market. It is not possible for Turkey to compete with other countries if we do not go global. So the gaming ecosystem is very important in that manner. And while I'm finalizing my word, I would like to thank the youth that is working on this, and I would like to show them my appreciation because it is very important. And all the professionals who have generated this event, I would like to thank them as well. Erkan Tüzgen, the General Secretary of the Development Agency, thank you very much for his speech. Our valuable Rector, Professor Dr. Tamer Yılmaz, has a great saying about the future. The way to predict the future is building the future. Of course, with the steps taken in the past, need new goals so that they can be successful in the future. So our new goals is this industry, which is expected to reach $1 trillion in the near future. So to be able to achieve that, we have to show new visions. We have to support entrepreneurs. We have to guide our entrepreneurs. So right now, for their speech, our rector, Professor Dr. Tamer Yılmaz, is coming to the stage. Yes, esteemed friends, our friends, student friends, the General Secretary of the Istanbul Development Agency, I would like to salute you all, my academician friends and members of the gaming industry. I would like to greet you all and welcome you all. Of course, we had a cocktail before and we have talked with our friends and friends who are incubating in the techno park with their gaming industry, and I have made a calculation. I think there is about $300 million of companies are right here. That is just what I've created was about $60 million. So yes, I've calculated all that. So there, the company owners right here are calculated to own about $300 million of companies. So in any industry, seeing these people together is not possible. Also, there are people who are also managing funds from Paris and Turkey, Istanbul. Why are we here? Because future is here and a big investment opportunity is here, and also a very important profit margins are in this industry. So it is making me very happy to see all this. Please don't mistake my intentions because I am not in love with money, so I'm not just about money. Of course, the size of an industry, the growth of an industry is very important, and the funds and capitals within the industry is very important. And I think the Istanbul and Turkey will also benefit greatly from this industry as well. Friends, Picasso has a saying, I usually utter it in my classes as well. Every child is creative and every child plays. What is important is to continue it when you grow up. And also in the companies that create a difference and create innovation, these ecosystems that maximize this creativity and innovation is the most important structure. You do not kill this creativity, and if you're able to achieve that, you create a successful ecosystem. Of course, there are a lot of blockages, and sometimes the education system is the biggest blockage on that. Unfortunately, the Prussian model of education can be an obstacle because we are trying to build a one size fits all system. So, unfortunately, you format this system and you might be killing the entrepreneurship, the innovation, and the creativity. And the university that's successful in that manner are the successful university. And thankfully, I am so happy that still this technical university is showing great effort and being a bit successful on that manner as well. And to be able to achieve that, of course, is very important. Technoparks are the way to achieve that. And for the 3 years for creating the ecosystem, the Yıldız Technical University Technopark is maybe the best technopark in Turkey. And our biggest competitor is not even in Istanbul; it is far, far away. I can say that. And dear friends, gaming is a serious business. We usually say that, and Yıldız Technical University has a history of 110 years, and this great building that we are in also show that, and there is also structures that is going back to the 15th century, and this is an amazing university that is coded with cultural and historical value. And 2021 was our year, and it was a very valuable year for us. And 2022 will also continue to be our year as well. It is to these Yıldız Technical University is the leader in research and development and entrepreneurship, and also we are a leader in the gaming ecosystem as well. And when we are talking about this, we have shown you with numbers and data, and we will continue to show you. And esteemed youth and youngsters, why are we able to reach this rear? Because we have 40,000 students and 150,000 alumni, and we have a great ecosystem, and we also have a motto. And having that motto is something that is very important for me. You can't be a student just by taking classes. University is this environment, a lot of events and these club activities, and we can achieve great things within clubs as well. And for example, a club we have has been going for 30 years, and they are developing a bunch of technological companies, and they have 20 to 30 million dollars of evaluation. So this is the biggest power we have, and a student in this university knows that I am in a third generation university. I would of course go to class, and I would of course work on our projects, but I have to develop a company. It is also a mission for me. In the third generation universities, academics and students has to be able to find their companies, and this university has the most academic companies and most student companies. So this shows that how much we believe in that motto, and I'm proud of that. Dear friends, It is a great environment, and after going through that tunnel, you feel the excitement and you want to be in this atmosphere constantly. We are going into another dimension. Of course, we know metaverse and NFTs and coins. These are very brand new things, and of course, we are now adding these into our curriculum. Metaverse, NFTs, coins, and tokens will be an elective course. Maybe these have only been existed for a couple of years, but I think we are very much a leading university in that sense, and we have clubs and student companies in our universities that are creating their own projects, creating their own coins, and we are very lucky about that. One of the most important universities of Turkey, and also we are in Istanbul. Without Istanbul, it is not possible to succeed. Of course, we have very valuable scientists and entrepreneurs coming from Ankara or other cities, but Istanbul is the capital of this business. So I would also like to thank Istanbul Development Agency. They are showing a great potential, and with the power we receive from Istanbul, we are trying to be the gaming leader of the Turkey or of the world even. While I'm finalizing my speech, I would also like to thank all of my friends, youngsters, and my friends that do not know how to get old, because somebody play a game would not get old, right? We should not stop this energy. I would like to thank all of them who worked on this event. I would like to thank the industry ministry because they are trusting of us. They are working great, and the general director at Orhan also I'd like to thank him as well. And Yıldız Technical University is the first and only university that has a partnership for their investment, and the development agency also helped our funds as well. So this is how we are helping you to grow and to experience and exist. Now we are also managing a very serious amount of funds. We had 30 million liras at first, and we will increase that number drastically, hopefully. And within the system, we will be funding the entrepreneurs that are starting up. And I believe gaming and esport, of course, we shouldn't also forget about esports as well. There are a lot of amazing things happening here, and I hope it will be beneficial to all of us, to our country, and starting with gaming entrepreneurs. Hopefully, we will have more unicorns and we will have more examples for entrepreneurship in Turkey. Thank you very much.
Profesör Doktor Sayın Tamer Yılmaz'a çok
Dr. Tamer Yılmaz for his speech. Just like our dear rector has said, by our Ministry of Industry and Technology, there has been an evaluation of 72 parameters, and within those standards, Yıldız Technical University and Yıldız Technopark has ranked the first for 3 years consecutively. This is a living campus, truly. I know about the Beşiktaş campus of Yıldız, but this here is so grand. I mean, you cannot see the end of it. But maybe as an organization, I'd like to tour around the campus and see for. We have actually prepared for you a video. Maybe there are those of you like myself who are here for the first time now. Let's see what there is in Technopark.
2, 1. Yıldız Kuluçka'nın kampüsünün harika olduğunu çok duyuyorduk. 1 milyon metrekare olması, içerisinin yeşillik olması.
Buradaki girişimcilik ve kuluçka destekleri, Starvik desteği, kampüs ortamının bambaşka bir havası var.
İlk geldiğimde şöyle bir karşılama oldu. Hoş geldin Sensei dediler bana. Çünkü onlar da oyunlarla ilgili kanalları inceliyormuş.
En sevdiğim yanı akademik bilgiyi ticari başarıya dönüştüren bir merkez olması.
Girişimimizi bambaşka bir boyuta taşıyabiliyoruz. Onun için auramız inanılmaz bir şekilde tuttu buradaki arkadaşlarla.
İlk geldiğimde bugünkü işimiz henüz bir hayaldi.
Bizim stüdyo kurmamız için de inanılmaz bir bize itiş kuvveti sağladı ve teknoloji olarak da bize itiş kuvveti sağladı. Olmamız gereken yerdeymişiz gibi hissediyoruz. Aynı zamanda buradaki açık kapalı ofis imkanları böyle bir çalışma yapılması beni inanılmaz mutlu etti.
Yıldız Kuluçka, Türkiye'nin en başarılı kuluçka merkezi.
Ve bu kuluçka bünyesinde bulunmaktan açıkçası çok mutluyuz. Yıldız Teknik bizim için şu an ve bundan sonra vazgeçilmez oldu diyebilirim.
Evet, bu başarı tabii ki
Of course, this success was not simply per chance because as we have seen in the last 3 or 4 years, like the university clubs, the student clubs, and their activities about esports, our academic staff were there as well. Their preparations, their research, doctorate, graduate and undergraduate level participation by them, and also international streaming. And most importantly, with the companies they have established under the auspices of Yıldız Teknopark, their guidance. So this success will grow even bigger and go even further under GamesUP, or with support of GamesUP. And to promote this, we now invite onto the floor dear İsa Turgut İnce, the General Manager Assistant of Yıldız Technical. Welcome everyone. Director, dear secretary, dear academic members, dear friends. I actually feel like I'm among my family here, so I'm very comfortable. Now I'd like to tell you about the project, where we want to go, actually, and where we want to locate ourselves within this strong ecosystem. There has been a lot of talk about the statistics, but there are some points I'd like to point out. So, where do we want to be in this market, in this target market? These are figures of Newzoo. I'd like to emphasize that the total market is about a few $100 billion, but Turkey is really strong compared to other countries in the sense that we are the second in terms of the number of total gaming studios. Of course, London is the first, but they have this urban defense system in place. So when we take things into account, we may even mount bigger. So we see a total market capital of about 90 billion. And as such, the Turkey ecosystem, if we want to scale it there, let's talk about one of the biggest accelerating programs we see in the international stage. We know that it brings about a turnover of about $175.8 billion each year, this global gaming market. So we can find some role models internationally speaking. The UK Games Fund, other than incubation and acceleration chances, they are also the first among the funding opportunities. And if we want to scale it to Turkey, if we were to look at the investments in the last few years, actually the gaming industry is one of the first few to get investments and we can even see an investment of total of $238 million. So to scale it further, there are more than 400,000 gaming studios worldwide, within the studios included. And if we want to compare the Turkish ones, or we want to look at the big picture, we amount up to 2% of them. So even even though we have seen really big investments, we only amount up to 2% worldwide in terms of total number of gaming studios. So if we want to make a growth of about only 1%, and if we can make it successful, we really believe that it'll bring millions or billions of dollars in terms of investments. Of course, you have been through our time tunnel, our timeline, maybe, and what we wanted to do with that was, I don't know if you noticed, there were some ad networks. So avatars from our incubation center were actually going hand in hand with you during that timeline. So this is what we wanted to promote. What we wanted to promote was in-game advertisements, and they have reached millions and billions of dollars each year, and we want to reach there as well. So if we want to be able to do that, the marketing side is incredibly important. And among our supports and contributions, I'll be talking about them, by the way, later as well. We'll be giving serious support in terms of infrastructure. And since we aim to be with the best in the gaming industry always, Portman will be supporting us there. I'll be talking about being a team, and I want to actually emphasize our roles. I'll talk about our roles because these gaming studios, gaming companies, they need partners they can feel like they can seriously trust. Our advisors, our promotional staff, they have been among those who actually made this event possible. So one of the advantages of being a team is that we have different professionals that take care of different professional demands. So some of these people meet those gaming studios, and others meet with possible investors, etc. So I'd like to tell you a bit about our how we differ compared to other programs. Well, first of all, we actually want to work with all those companies, all those studios, or all those investors that want to have a presence in this sector. Even those who want to just have a market research, we are calling out to all the stakeholders, our possible stakeholders, and we want to create a gaming ecosystem in Yıldız Technopark because in the scale of Turkey, Istanbul is going to be the pioneer, and Istanbul, Yıldız Technical University is going to be the pioneer, as we have already many infrastructural opportunities, so special programs for game developers, and other than those, some exclusive opportunities. So these go over simply game development, and we will also be supporting you with possible opportunities of funds and grants. So with this mentorship, education and mentorship, we'll be giving opportunities about product development and launching in the marketplace. This is how we're differentiating in a way. Due to an existing legislation, we must take care of a procedure that will integrate the relevant stakeholders into our technopark. However, we will be shouldering on the responsibilities that will bring and make the process so much simpler for you. So just like our director had talked about, just like the metaverse, we want to have some kind of virtual gaming incubation center. So all of these remote processes, all of these virtual processes. Yes, those stakeholders will be able to utilize from those as well. So from end to end, we will be shouldering on these legislative responsibilities and also supporting you or advising you on the game development side. We'll be doing all of these by having investor meetings. We have already done so many of them, but during the next 18 months, which will encompass our project, we'll keep doing so. We'll be actually having them meet our portfolio of possible stakeholders. And of course, we want to have all those stakeholders who want to have a presence in esports or mobile gaming industry, etc. This is actually going to work as a lever program. So in long term, all of our uh, projects will be supported in the long run by our incubation center for both those closed and open studios. We are talking about a Yıldız Gaming portfolio, incubation portfolio of 500 million dollars. Yes, we are aiming for mobile gaming right now, but we have studios that develop in AAA games and other relevant sectors, gaming types. They are not here right now to present themselves, but we have their logos here. We have many success stories. And truly, I'll be sharing with you some figures. Truly, these figures were inspected and evaluated by third-party groups. We'll be having a joint investment with them in a way. This is the current portfolio you see on the screen, but we want to increase it even further because our total potential for exporting Yıldız Technopark, we've gone over $1 billion. So this is where we want to reach. What were some of the success stories? What were we aiming with GamesUP and what did we manage? So yes, this program, in a sense, we have been trying to bring it to life for the last 1.5 years, and truly we cannot thank the Istanbul Development Agency enough for making it possible. But as we have said many times before, the initiatives taken by our academicians and their success. Right now, we see these applications and the platform that is being used in more than 110 countries by millions of children that uses AI algorithms. Mm. This not only shows our presence and gives us visibility in the international market, but also this can prove our success in game development and launching strategies. So yes, we have managed to create a relationship of trust with different partners and different stakeholders. Our company of Mental Up. The program's success, I think, can be really proved with this company's success. Also, fiber games, which have been supporting us so much in do-it-yourself genre. We have managed to get into the top tens of more than 154 countries. I think everyone knows Kral Şakir. So yes, Kral Şakir, with the investment that it currently has and with its possible investments, shows that it's going to be ranking among the first few again. And they are also giving consultancy. And with so many teams, we had the chance to represent Turkey worldwide through their helps. And in game jam area as well, they have supported us. And with CS, there were not many successful initiatives taken by Turkey. But in the last few years, we have created visibility for ourselves, and we thank so much the Istanbul Development Agency for this. So Axel Studio, our first developer there. So they have been running a portfolio and representing Turkey very successfully worldwide. Again, we want to emphasize the collection of metaverse and NFTs, but the in-game advertisement areas, they can be rented game digitally, and this Turkish company doesn't have a lot of international competitors. So we are one of the pioneers here, I would wager. And of course, our value proposals with all of these investments and the success we have had globally, we have talked about those, but we have national contact points all around the world, especially North Africa, EMEA, and other countries, Northern Europe, etc. We have been having some very successful projects and processes to increase our visibility and presence there, and we are having so much success. And all of our services been successful to this end, I would say. I'd like to thank some very distinguished and dear stakeholders for this. So first of all, of course, dear Yıldız Technical University and our distinguished rector, thank you so much. And of course, our General Director Orhan Bey for his never-ending support, and also Istanbul Development Agency, who has never stopped supporting us in this journey. Also, I'd like to talk about BTM, Bilgi Ticaretleştirme Merkezi. So in all of our processes, they have supported us in gamification, digitalization, and KI. And we see Footballist right next to it. One of the most successful teams to represent Turkey worldwide in terms of vertical esports. I'd like to also thank Survey. And on the BTM side, I'd like to thank Ibrahim Bey and his team. TNet, they are among our stakeholders as well. TT Ventures, as we mentioned before, they have been ranking among the first companies to present joint ventures in this sense in Turkey. And among the civil society organizations, I think one of the first ones. I'd also like to thank Mansu Bey for making this possible, and P Ventures, Bora Bey is going to be telling us about his experiences. Again, on the gaming scale, they have been ranking among the first venture capitals. Sinzov is very important for us because Reisi, dear Reisi, is not only a very successful academic, but also is one of the guides that really paved the way for the team with his know-how. We also like to thank Simzov for this. So, where do we want to reach in our target market? Startups Watch and Serkan Bey, their team really helped us see where we wanted to go in our target market. We'd also like to thank all of you for being here, for your participation. If you really want to become a member of this journey, then you should be here in GamesUP. Thank you so much once again for being here. We'd like to thank him, our General Director Assistant for Yıldız Technopark. And we'll be having our panel very shortly, I'd also like to remind you once again that we'll be having friendly match. Now, I'd like to invite our director first of all and the others to have a family photo so that we will have a keepsake for this day.
Yardımcımız. Buyurunuz lütfen.
co-cheat. Arda, be leaving the floor to you. Thank you so much. So, as somebody already introduced all of us, and I'd like to say welcome to each one of you. So, I'm not going to ask you to introduce yourselves, actually, don't worry. Well, let's start with you. You have been present in banking, media, and also the gaming industry. Three different verticals, right? So, your career has been a journey to much more innovative business models, starting from the traditional ones. So, is this very new for you, what you are doing right now? Well, banking was not all that innovative for me. It was my first, right? I was a university student and I wanted to be involved in something. Of course, it contributed so much to my development. But just like Yasmin said, I have been scholic in the sports side and I have been active in many places there. I was working under digital Turk media and well, and also building Premier League. I had the initiative to manage the individual rights there in terms of organizations. Of course, when you are responsible for the sports rights, I'm not even counting the gaming side because I have been involved in it ever since I could probably walk by myself. I never had the dream to one day become a professional in the gaming industry, but I was always a good player, I would say. Always a good gamer, even. And in 2011, Riot Games wanted to meet with me. To be honest, since I was responsible for the the sports rights, I say to myself, they probably want to sell the esports rights to Digiturk. But while we're having the business scenario, it was not as such. They proposed me an offer. They offered me a job, and I asked, "What do you want to do?" They said, "Whatever you want to do, we just want to be successful because esports is growing rapidly all around the world, and you have been active in the team that made it possible, that made sports so successful in other areas. So let's get together and make it possible to grow esports together." I was honestly just very excited about this because I had been in the same company for a decade, so you always believe that after that much time you have already reached your final point of development. So this was a different. This was a very new thing for me. This was very exciting. In 2014, we did something first worldwide. Of course, we managed to bring sports clubs into esports. I don't know if it was a good thing with it, if it was a wise thing, but still, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, etc. They all have esports teams. They also have their tokens, right? They do. They do. But then it spread worldwide, right? Barcelona, Schalke, etc. They started establishing their own esports team. And I think one of our biggest achievements was that Riot Games we transferred some of their European servers to Turkey because one of the biggest pain points for our users, for our players here, was that there was there were so many ping spikes. There was such high latency in Turkey. But I think we have been very successful in this. I think there is no other that company that did this. Tencent, they do it. I think they have been doing something about their mobile games, but I don't know 100%. So one more thing I was really proud about. We established the biggest esports area in Europe, in Istanbul. It can hold more than 1,000 people, and people can just get there on the weekend and watch esports matches. And it was not a stop for me. I left Riot Games in 2019 because I saw so many opportunities while I was working in the industry. And just then, I would say I came across Orkun. So it was my first investment. It was your first too? Yes, yes, mine as well. I mean, in on the gaming side, it was my first investment, the one I had with Orkun, and now I have 14 investments. I am holding the position of chairman in different executive boards, and a fund. This everyone thinks it's a fund, but this is actually a joint venture that seeks to fund gaming studios, and also in Galatasaray as well, and some others. So let's not get to them. Okay, Orkun, let's get to you then. Maybe not many people remember it, but you have actually started with gaming videos in YouTube while you became a content creator initially. So you have been in many different positions in this industry. So what do you think about the development of the industry, and also what do you think as an investor and a content creator? I actually started in 2016 as a magician. I am doing videos about being a magician, and then in 2017 I started with gaming videos. Then streaming there. I guess there was no one there, right? Yes, there was no one. I mean, 100 people were only watching the stream on YouTube, and we had very limited, very restricted opportunities to get advertisements. Ad companies didn't want to do it at all. I remember back then they gave me an ad for $50 about some zombie game or something. I could not earn any money off of YouTube back then. Now I do, but just like what I said, I want to be able to talk about YouTube as what banking or finance is to Bora. So it takes 15 to 20% of my time, and other than that, I doing serious research and development projects about cryptocurrencies. And during last year, I have invested more than 5 to 70 cryptocurrencies offshores, about 100 to 110 $100,000. So people always ask about what YouTubers do with their money, with their income, with all that profit. So I didn't have any cars or actually real estate to myself. I invested all of these in startups. I really like, because I really like supporting them in their journey. I really like supporting them with the relevant know-how I have accumulated myself. So this is what I do currently. I am trying to work with startups. I think this is very important. I want to emphasize it. The founder of Getir as well talked about this before. We have to establish this culture of give back, because the as long as the investors don't give back to the industry, then we will not be able to go forward in the long run. Of course, I'd like to ask you about Turkey. We are still not the high-end, cutting-edge technology developer as a country, and we talked about the how the gaming industry is the new security sector for Turkey. So let's talk about how this boom in Turkey was achieved. And I have to ask: was this something sudden? Were there some things that were invisible in the background? I think this was not per chance at all. I think if we ask anyone about Turkey's biggest advantage, their answer would be the youth. I mean, we have 10 million people in primary school right now. I mean, it's so much bigger than some of the Nordic countries, maybe, or sorry, well, Baltic countries. So this young population, of course, since there are so many of them, we see a boom in the gaming industries, and they want to take positions and have jobs in this industry. I'm 5 right now, and my biggest dream when I was 18 or 19 was to actually work, get employment in the sports industry. And now a lot of the youth want to be employed in the gaming industry. I think this is a very big trend in our time right now. But in terms of professional access, it was very hard to reach out to the sports industry back then. But right now, the software, the launchings, all all those things about gaming changed a lot. So the youth can really easily access gaming opportunities. Of course, people can also make money off of it, right? While they play games at their homes, right? Yes, and also this has become a source of income for people. And just like Okun has said before, the things pioneers like he did made it more possible and easier for people to dream actually.
Orkun gibi insanlar sayesinde
But thanks to people like Orkun, people are able to make and have these dreams, like being a streamer or a gamer or a YouTuber. And we have a big number of young people, and they are very smart. Especially our youth are very smart, and our director also talked very well about the education systems, and we had a lot of young people who are successful about this. So what should we do to make it sustainable? I think the thing is, the most important thing is, in Turkey has been creating unicorns quickly. In 2022 there are about two or three more unicorns that is possible, but we have to be able to use them. Now the world is taking a look at Istanbul and Turkey. This I had a meeting with a company, an international investment company, and they said that Istanbul is the Silicon Valley of gaming. This was a Chinese company, and if we give these youngsters these opportunities, there's a lot to be done. Like GamesUP, having universities being the leading institution for this is very important, because what we used to do was we would just study the university and graduate, and we wouldn't know what to do. That's what happened to us. When I graduated from university, I didn't know what I was going to do. So these opportunities, these environments, the youth have a lot of opportunity and possibility for future. So also people like Orkun are also investing in these industries as well. So you have to use this opportunity and power. So what I'm thinking is, if you actually want to achieve something, there is a big resource that you can reach in Turkey, and the structures that use it well will quickly improve themselves. Of course, how we can keep it sustainable, we can have places, environments, and opportunities like this, and we can increase the number of these opportunities so that we can achieve sustainability. I think we also should do, like, while entrepreneurs are receiving investment and investors are giving investment, I think their mentality will change. I think, for example, what we see in crypto currently, there's a different model. You Even if you go to a crypto company with $50 million, because you can't have an operational support to them, they will tell you bye bye. You can choose their investments. For example, in normal startups, I think we will see that as well. This is not just about money, They, they will be choosing the investments at this point. This is happening currently, is it? Yes, we are seeing that frequently, especially with companies. We are seeing about investments, and they all believe in their work, and they don't want to share. They don't want to give a lot of shares of their company. So, especially for gaming and crypto, there are a lot of funds that want to invest, and everybody has money now. Currently, the company owners, the entrepreneurs can choose the investors at this point. Orkun, I am going to return to that, the relationship between investor and entrepreneur. While also being a content creator, you're also working in a lot of different uh, industries, and you have said that YouTube is now a minimal thing for you. So we can call you that you used to be an entrepreneur, and you have become an investor. Of course, you have talked about a lot about these things. But has there been any startups that you were also a founder of, and what happened? And which one would you prefer, entrepreneurship or investment? I think both of them are great, and both have their own positives. And when I think about myself as an entrepreneur, and if you believe in your work and you have to convince the investors, and if you believe that you will be able to achieve that, and if the investor doesn't have any information about it and it demotivates you, that's a wall, that's a blockage that you face, and you are trying to explain something that they know nothing about, or this is the worst scenario that can happen because the investor may not understand and invest anyways. And for the investors, what I've experienced, I'm not going to talk about a name of the project. I have invested in a project. I have helped them about marketing. I have taken them in my office. I have set up their networks. You know about it, yeah, yeah. And when I've come to the office one day, they're all gone. And 3 months later, they are calling me, and they say we left and because of the pandemic, and we lost our minds. And so what else? And we had an agreement, but of course everything is possible, and this is a big lesson and experience for us. I'm gonna ask both of you a question. Let's start with Bora. As we play, when you receive these startups, what kind of a process, you know, about these ideas, their history, the interactions. But in this entrepreneurship ecosystem, there are a lot of ideas, and what you see in the gaming. Now, the reason we have founded Replay was because I was in the investment committee in another fund, and while 20 was being founded, it was the first fund investing in Turkey's gaming industry. Now, the gaming industry investment has started, and as somebody who's experienced about that, I am there, and we are choosing where to invest, but the evaluations, it was very hard to explain it to the other friends in the committee because gaming industry doesn't sell the product directly, and there are a lot of structures. The values and numbers are very different in that sense. So the classical investment consultant is very hard for them to work in this gaming investment. So when we find the gaming studio, the idea, but they give it in 6 months. They decided to find a new company, start a new company, and they made me a director. So we are not moving forward with an investment committee. We have a very serious carding system. We have about 20 to 25 people who are constantly searching for new studios. They find them, they look at them, they meet with them. They have their own, our own formats. So we should also talk about that. You are not expecting or waiting for investors. You are looking for them. Yes. What we hope is that if a studio becomes a unicorn, we should. It cannot be a studio we don't know about. Hopefully, we will be able to catch them, but it is not always possible. Sometimes your pipeline is not in line with their the entrepreneurs' purposes. So there are a lot of big successful companies we have not invested in. We know about them. So our SCAD team is researching all of them, and of course they have some evaluation themselves, and they bring it them to me after that. And we have two more friends in the board of directors, and if I like it, we move it on to the directors board of directors. So when the first team takes a look at the entrepreneur, we invest within 3 weeks. So the gaming industry is a lot about math as well. If we separate the characters it is very dependent. It is very dependent on the studio. If they have a product ready, we take a look at the data. But if they do not have the product ready, we take a look at the team. Even if they were not able to create the first product, they might be able to do some another product. So we also take a look at their purpose. How much do they want to succeed? We usually, for example, see this. We realize that the team is great and they are very great, but the game, the product is bad. So we allow them to fail. We wait for them, and then they come to us. It didn't work. So what is going to happen? But we believe in the team. So then we, for example, some studios are just two people, one person, three people. They are not a company. We very much like them. One of them is in Ordu, one of them is in Istanbul, one of them is in Izmir. We bring them together and make it a studio. Because one of them has the software, one of them has the creatives, one of them has the project management. So if these three studios were to combine, it would be a great combination. We introduce them to each other. So we have a studio like that, for example. There is nothing in the. So we have a great team that loves gaming and loves investing. So first of all, we take a look at the games that we will play first, and we invest in teams that we believe they will be successful. So when entrepreneurs come, how would you evaluate them? You usually send them to me, so I agree with everything Boras said. The commitment of the entrepreneur to that work. How committed are they to the work? For example, some of them also has romanticized their work in their mind as well. So being able to separate that, and if that person is definitely believing in that and spending all of their time on this, I don't take a look at the numbers that much. We can have this much from that. We can earn this much. We can make this an unicorn. What I'm taking a look at is would this person would be able to make this project a success. So of course I am alone right now. So I am more success oriented. Of course, what Orkun also said is very good because you can sometimes connect very well with your own product. So being able to leave it is also a power, a skill. So while I was working in the other investment company, they would very much care about it because I have worked in international hiring as well for the panelists, and one of the things that they prefer was when can you give up? When can you say that this is not going to work? This is very important while investing or when you are buying stocks, for example. When is the time to do the trade-off? When you can see that in an investor, even if we do not believe that we will keep following them, we believe that they will be able to find the correct path. I think according to their numbers in 2021, just for gaming, we have about $265 million. And in the first 30 days of 2022, we are over $400 million. As we play, how would you close this year? What do you see in the future? As Orkun said, the money is everywhere. There are a lot of money going around, and because other industries have very low profit margins, the gaming industry is receiving a lot of money, and the numbers will increase exponentially. And big funds are giving big numbers like Actera. They have powers to do billions of dollars of investments, and they are doing them to the gaming industry now. Because 2 years ago, for example, when you were to talk about these investments. For example, for 2 years ago, the evaluation of a company was like, for example, $5 million, and they were asking for 20%. But what would they say? Just give me the studio, because the number was very small for them. Of course, these funds are realizing the value here because there's demand here and the supply is very limited. I also don't like evaluations. For example, this company that has the same product, for example, one of them is valued 1 million, another one is valued 12 million. For example, how is it decided? Let me give you an example. For example, we are taking a look at the studio, and the game is not ready yet. They have a great idea, and I very much like the idea as well. So we asked them their evaluations, and they said $45 million. So what is the investment you are looking for? And they said 20%, so like $9 million. So all right, I said. It was a Zoom meeting, and my team was disturbed a little bit, and I realized that, and they were focused on what I was going to say because they don't want to say something against me. But what I'm going to ask is that why $45 million? So they said we taking a look at the gaming industry. The valuations are very very big. That's why we chose that. So okay, you are asking for $9 million. What are you going to so so they don't have any infrastructure for the evaluations. Why $9 million? Why, for example, there are a lot of very high evaluations as we said the same company. For example, the reason might be that, for example, one of them requires that I will have a very luxury place. I will have the best employees, and I will pay them 4 times. So the employees will not leave. That's why my costs will be this much, and I am asking for 2 years of that. I am going for the evaluation for 5 times. So that's the idea. So you have to explain the reasonings. You are saying my evaluation is $20 million, and I want 10%, and I'm going to spend this 2 million this way, and you can't take $1 million to themselves. As people say, what are you investing in? How much does that person take for themselves? You are the owner of the company. You are working full time on that, and you have the majority shares. So you have to write a salary for themselves. Sometimes, for example, people write zero because they have to write something to themselves as well, and that can't be zero either. So you have to have something, but you can't have too much. Of course, the evaluations are very chaotic right now, and the reason for this exponential growth is because these funds have agents that don't know about the industry, and they have a lot of money. So I think in 2 3 years the failures are going to be talked about as well. We are constantly talking about the success stories, but for example, this year maybe we can have more than twice the investment in the play turn games and play and earn, maybe more logical. So the mechanisms will improve that way as well. So for your own investment in this year, what kind of areas would you take a look at it? For example, the projects that include the word meta and blockchain. I don't use those. I focus on blockchain and not NFT series, NFT platforms. I am also taking a look at the NFTs, and I am against NFT projects without any utility. So, for example, they are saying that they are going to give the 50% of the money to an NGO. The other 50% will be shared between the team. So, for example, INFT Noah's Ark, you purchase the NFT, then you level it up, and let's say you have bought an NFT, then it starts 2D, then goes to 3D, and it starts composing the music. For example, that's a great project, and that's a project with future, but they have put a doodle like a monkey doodle, and another monkey has something else. I'm against those ones. I definitely agree. An NFT is a very, it seems like a new concept, but I think there are three pillars on that. First of all, gaming. Second, art, and third, sports. NFTs have different reasoning for these, and also I think it is a digitalization of an asset. So what I see the in the future is forest tools or tokens are, for example, I'm gonna rent this place, but I have to rent it myself. I can create an NFT pool. I'm sure that 100 people can rent that. So there are systems that are sharing profits according to the NFT owners of one place, for example, and there are amazing structures being founded, and blockchain and Bitcoin is not the same thing. Not everything is metaverse, and what Facebook metaverse, these are not the same things, and there are some myths commonly known, and we hate them. We are going crazy because of this chaos. Of course, people who are playing games 15 years ago, what gamers were doing that, they are calling them metaverses. Night Online, Ultima Online, WoW, for example, all of them are metaverse. Now, hyper casual games are constantly called metaverse games. For example, some guys, for example, are saying that let's play football in metaverse, and they are playing FIFA. Minecraft, for example, 15 years ago, people were going to the events within the games, and they would go on raids together or do other activities. So, as I've said, what I'm afraid of is that we are constantly talking about success stories. So, after a while, people are afraid of having these joke, for example, because there's a lot to be done. And I think, of course, around the collectible area, I'm not looking a lot of utilities. For example, Galatasaray has created an NFT collection, and I purchased it. Why is that? Because this is the first NFT created by a sports club, so I purchased it. But other than that, if this doesn't have any digital or, for example, in matters of art, it doesn't have any meaning behind it, I am against this roadmap. For example, in level 1 you find a community for the NFT purchases. In level 2 you create a merchandise brand, and in level 3 you are going to do a resort for a holiday, and then they have purchased an island with that, and I have a holiday in that area with that NFT purchase. So there will be hundreds of firms in NFTs and play earn, but how many of them will be sustainable? Last day, for example, somebody tweeted that please read, and you must have that data as well. For example, the projects you have in that, for example, what percentage of people read the white papers? people invest millions and they do not read their white papers. Only about 1% read them. For example, there are a lot of projects coming to us, and I'm asking for their white papers, and they don't. They're saying they don't have. For example, we tried so hard to include that system, but people like us, when you don't have a white paper, for example, you're going into court, for example, you have a court case, but the country doesn't have constitution. There are no lawyers, but you have a court case. So about the replay side, of course, you talked about that. You also include a lot of ideas from smart money concept. And how do you prefer that when entrepreneurs come to you? An entrepreneur has to be in an area that I know the know-how of, because I wouldn't invest in a burger restaurant, for example, because I know nothing about it. And of course, in the social media, in blockchain, in gaming, and if I can add some value to that company by myself, that's why I would like to invest in it. For example, all the investments that I am doing in this area for cryptos, for gaming, for example, when a project comes to me, we give them everything that they are going to need. We are creating a launch pad. And when you're talking about marketing, it's not about just send a story about our games, right? Yeah, of course not. Yes, we are coming close to the end. What I'm going to ask you is now, can you give some recommendations for a book, podcast, a movie about maybe investment or entrepreneurship? Do you have any? For example, I have getting things done and jobs to be done is something you can read, and this is something that I use for note taking. And the other one is about, it's David Allen's, right? Jobs to be done. It was from David Allen. He's talking about the products that you are creating. For example, which products are competing with other. For example, McDonald's milkshake example. Most people would know about it. For example, when you create a product, a lot of things that you wouldn't think about are competitors to that. And when a consumer purchases a product that they didn't before, it is replacing something else in their lives. For example, of course, there are a lot of variations for jobs to be done. I couldn't remember the writer, but there is a book called Leading Life. So, for people who are entrepreneurs, it is a book that is helping with the decision making point of uh, their, while they are living. He has an excuse. I'm gonna have a kid, right? So of course, someday I'm gonna have a kid. I think in the last 10 months I've read about 200, 300 white papers. So that's what I'm reading. We can receive questions if there are any.
So should we mention that white papers, their content doesn't mean that the company that came up with it will not 100% manage to do everything there. I mean, you, a company can just say they will take Earth out of its orbit, but obviously they will not be able to do it. So uh, please consider the feasibility, and of course they can also change token list as anytime they want to, as they can change the white paper, etc. So please do not think along the lines of, okay, they had this in their white paper, so they'll be doing this 100%. Think of who are behind the project, what they have accomplished in the past. So these are not their pledges or anything. Yes. Any questions from the audience? I guess not. Why not? Why no questions? Okay, someone raised their hands. Okay. Usually it goes as this, right? Yes, so, well, thank you so much for speaking, and I've been following Orkun very closely. Thank you for the great speech. Thank you for, by the way, having me on camera because I just remembered I had my glasses on. Okay, so in the near future, especially in the next 1 year, I was wondering about what kind of projects would be deemed exciting for you in your eyes. Can you give us a general framework about that? Because we have come to this point with this casual and hyper casual trend, but slowly, as you might have noticed, things are changing. The dreams, the tasks, the aims of the teams are changing. The studios are changing. So I'm wondering, are you getting yourself prepared? And I'm going to ask Orkun about where he sees himself while he's locating himself in the ecosystem gaming in games as a critic. So for me, I have just mentioned how we try to invest in games we ourselves would play, and I'm a hardcore gamer. I don't consume all that much content about hyper casual or simple, easy to play games. I usually go for games that are longer, that are to shot at hyper casual studios at all. I mean, there were about 40 million uh, players, gamers in Turkey, and almost 5 million of them are consuming hyper casual games. So, what my personal expectation is, I think they are going to transition into harder games because hyper casual is filled to the brim with copies, with copycats, and the number of successful studios or games are so many, so few. So I think they will try to turn to play to earn. There will be many nominations, many new studios, and I think just like Orkun's example, I think we will be seeing play to earn games which will be very playable. I actually saw a few projects that sounded very exciting, and with my own eyes, I said, okay, I would play this and invested in those. Because I think right now the strong actor in the industry is not the gaming studio, it's actually the gamer himself or herself. Now a gamer plays games on end, and it used to be in the past that you could get banned at any moment for anything you have done, any wrong thing you have done. In Play to Earn, you are the owner of the character you are playing. You can use your accomplishments, you can memorize them, you can turn them into keepsakes, etc. So, as such, I think we will see. I'm searching with my own eyes for games in the future that will be playable, that will be exciting, that will be fruitful, and I hope, and also I think that they will increase in numbers. Message delivered, I would say yes. So, and I think on the play to earn side, with Unity games that were developed with Unity, or maybe with coded with Babylon, GSC, etc. So I'm trying to find play to earn games that web because these Android and iOS markets they are going through, let's say, a bit of a shaky situation right now. I'm sorry, but one member of the audience is currently speaking without a microphone, so translation is not possible. Actually, many of them come forward then after a point of time. But yes, a lot of them do this after a long run. So thank you for bringing this up. Thank you. We have one more question. I think two questions we have in total. Because we have successes and failures in life. They say the more risk you take, the higher chance of success you have. So, in what you do in your activities, I think what you have gone through times that you were successful and also unsuccessful. So, it is very important to keep that success to be able to make it go forward. So, how did you manage to do that? And also, when should we take risks and where? Well, I think it completely depends on the time, on the place, on the project, on the company, on the studio, etc. I think there is no general formula we can use for it. No, I agree. My formula is that after all, you have a portfolio, you have a power, and you are investing with that power. So, with which percentage of that power are you investing on something, and also for how long? Because my budget that I take away for investing, I diversify it so much. I'm not investing all of them to one or two studios only. So my understanding of risk, my approach to risk is actually uh, diversifying things even further. Maybe if the total portfolio is consisting of 100 units, and if I'm investing with 40 units of it only, I'm taking away 40 units to invest in only successful ones, and maybe 40% of it to actually other capitals or other projects that seem more risky. So I have to be able to believe in the team, in the task, in the project, etc. I cannot otherwise invest at all. Never. So we should also never forget that you can almost never possibly have 100% chance of success. So it is very important to understand where we are going to finalize things with a project in terms of an investment. Of course, these all come with experience, right? I myself have had so many investments that were failures in the end. So with the lessons I learned there, I took things forward. I mean, there are projects, there are calls for investments. I mean, in which they ask you to allocate further securities or resources into it. Sometimes I do it, but sometimes I do not actually support them further or invest in them further. I mean, you have to take the risk according to your evaluations, according to the big picture. I think the biggest and the most useful risk management starts at that point, in which you must invest in ways that will not affect your life from its very roots. I also diversify things into three. I mean, with two-thirds of it, I buy uh, things like gold or currencies, but also took my investments away from the bank. I also now believe that decentralization is more is better, is safer. I think also at this point it is very easy to understand who is just going through a hype period and trying to get the money as best they can, and also those who are great people who want to achieve great success with great and realistic projects. But at the end of the day, you learn by failing. You learn by basically getting slapped in the face. Do it. But even then, if it seems reasonable to you, you will probably go there and invest in this stuff, and then you will get a slap in the face, you will get that treatment, and then you will understand why you were wrong in the first place. Well, thank you so much, both of you. I hope we will have a repeat of this conversation once again. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Arda, Arda, Orkun, and Bora. Let's have a round of applause for them. Thank you so much, all of you. Are we going to have a photo? I guess we are. seats. Our exhibition match will shortly start, but they are currently warming up. They are still going on with their preparations, and as they are doing so, we'll have our second panel with you. Do not take too much of your time. Our first panel, in our first panel, we started our journey into the gaming industry, but now we'll be looking at the global markets, and our second panel is titled Having a Presence in Global Markets and What Are the Globalization Opportunities for Local Actors. So, first of all, I'll be inviting Bashar Kaya to the stage, who will be our moderator. And Ezgi Ada, MBT Partner and Marketing Executive, is our first guest. Let's have a round of applause for her. And Volkan Taban, Gamester Co-Founder and Marketing Director, who is our second guest speaker for this panel. So I'll be leaving the floor to Bashar to start our second panel. For a long time, I have not been on stage. It is the end of the pandemic for me. So for us, GamesUP was a dream of 1.5 years, and I'm very happy to see it realized today. I'm actually a part of a gaming initiative, and we ourselves are trying to grow in global markets. But of course, I am here today in front of you as a moderator, and I'll be having a chat with two very experienced names in the sector for years now. Ezgi Ada, who's a member of NBT, and we have one of the founders of Gamester, Volkan Taban. So I'll be leaving the floor to you. Let's start with you, Ezgi. Let's get to know you a bit. Thank you. I'm one of NBT's partners. We are a growth studio, and this growth, we either manage it by running the digital marketing processes for different companies or by educating them to do so themselves so that they can grow in their target markets. I think by the mid 2021, I think we did best was MBT ventures. With them, have been generating new startups, our budgets for new startups. So we are also investing in places, in areas of potential growth as we see them. Thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to thank you, Bashar, and also the dear participants and all those who contributed to the hosting of this event. I've been in the gaming industry for many years now. We have established our first company in 2009. Of course, the industry was so different back then. We had Facebook, we had more flash-based games or browser-based games. But in the last 12 years, we have seen a big change in the sector. We have seen Facebook-based games ending. We have seen the start of the mobile gaming industry, and of course, we have seen the birth of AI and similar, more new cutting-edge technologies. Of course, we have one more studio who is that is working on games that is beneficial for the development of school children. So we have been active in two different sides, and I have been, as I have mentioned before, working in the gaming industry for a very long time now. So I have seen the rise and fall of many different trends and sub industries. So I have a bit experience, I can say. Thank you so much for your for introducing yourselves. So let's talk about the pandemic, right? As you know, with COVID-19, we had lockdowns, and there was this huge rise in demand for games, and a lot of gaming studios saw booms, went through booms during the pandemic in terms of number of users or number of players, and as such, that brought a great deal of demands. And now in Google App Store, we have more than 500,000 games. So there is this great deal of competition. Now I'd like to ask Volkan, if we did not have the pandemic, would we still get this much acceleration, or did we come across the rabbit hole with this pandemic? I really believe, first of all, I would say, I really believe in the gaming and also the mobile gaming industry because it can really adapt so rapidly. So even if things change in real life, it can adapt very fast. So yes, lockdowns were of course a chance for all of us to maybe socialize or entertain ourselves because these were our needs, and that's why we turned to gaming. I think in 2021, mobile gaming grew more than 30%, I would say. If I'm not mistaken, this is a great figure. So, yes, I think the pandemic helped, but even if it were not for the pandemic, we would have this growth in maybe 2 to 3 years. But there is also the thing with the pandemic that, in which that we could not meet face to face with people, especially for new ventures or new initiatives. We could not meet face to face. We could not have physical meetings. This has a negative effect, actually. In 2021, we see that it has been the year that had the least number of games that were launched in the last decade. So, yes, maybe the low figure may not only be about the pandemic, but still, I think it had its positive and negative effects. And USG, I agree 100%. This rabbit hole, yes, we would still have it. Still, we would find a rabbit out of a hat, but not as fast as we had in the last year or the last 2 years. Yes, many new titles came up in 2021, and I think we can see the effect of the pandemic and the very rapid acceleratory effect it had if we compare the figures to the yesteryears or the previous years. So yes, I think things would still keep growing, but not as fast. I had the chance to read a report about mobile applications in 2021. Of course, in 2020, gaming apps saw an incredible boom, but in 2021, they left their place to fitness apps and such. So, yes, in 2020, there was this whole group of people, a huge number of people who wanted to game and entertain themselves, but now people want to be fit and healthier. No, but if you want to, let's talk about these new ventures about into the global market. As you know, especially with countries that have inflation rates like Turkey or rapidly changing currency exchange rates, there are always more opportunities or more incentives to take the initiatives, make investments in the mobile gaming industry to go global. So I would like to ask you, how hard or how easy is it to make a mobile game that can get you currency, money in currencies, and also what should we do 1% correct if we want to go global? So yes, on all fronts, it is hard to have a globally successful venture. I mean, I see some of the initiatives, they want to get to the product stage right away. I see this all the time. I think there are three very critical things. First of all, you must have an analysis and see for yourself how bigger it could go, how bigger this industry could go. Which countries, which regions would you like to go to? What kind of games are downloaded more in which continents, for example? And who is your target group? Or is it men, women? Is it the children? Which age groups are we concerned with? So Roblox is very popular with the Generation Z and also women. So Pokemon Go is very popular worldwide, especially with men, for example. So we should take such kind of details into account, and also our competitors in the marketplace, in the market. We have to be careful about them. So are the competitor games, are they backed by serious investors, are serious names, or are they startups, for example? So what kind of marketing strategies, advertising strategies do they have in place? What kind of user onboarding system they have in place? You can just download the app for yourself. You can just have a market research about your competitors too, I'm trying to say. So you must look at all of these, and then you can evaluate the bigger picture by looking at all of these and say, oh yes, I can do this or I cannot do this. I mean, in Turkey, for example, if you want to have a target group with your game, you must have an even more elaborate research. So why does this group of people play games? Do they do it to have just fun, or just as a way of decompressing, maybe, or is there just other thing? Of course, you must create this growth function while you do so. So how are you going to get people to do certain things? Yes, I have traffic on App Store, so I'm going to make this user even more engaged and make them into an active user in the end. So there's this funneling thing. And you must also describe what is the active customer or what is the engaged customer for you. So, of course, localization and such topics are also important in the strategizing phase. But the third thing is the marketing plans, which you based on this funneling stage, the previous funneling stage. So, what kind of support or contribution are you going to get out of the marketing channels? You must think it beforehand. It is very important. So I'm going to give it advertisements on TikTok. So I'm going to get it to Instagram, etc. So what kind of engagement scenario do we have in place? Let's say they downloaded it on social media, and 3 days later, what happened? I mean, did they have a purchase? Did they? If they made a purchase, should I send them an email, etc., etc.? So A to Z, you must have a marketing plan in place. These should all be ready already before the launching of the game, so that you can have a clear cut and well-oiled machine in place, so you will not lose any more time with it in the future. So these are very important. So product development and game development, I think they differ most of all in this sense. So you have to find such a niche group of people, right? Such a niche community you must find, and you cannot look at other very important and relevant stuffs. I would also like to give Gamester the floor to talk about this, who is very successful in doing all of these what we talked about. Well, I really think I would go for games that has good optimized KPIs, that has good working processes in place, because no matter where you are globally speaking, you'll already earn money. I mean, if first of all, I have to say most games are already global. If you're not going to make something very specific, only very specific to a local group of people, then it's going to go. It's going to have global elements, right? So if you can just look at certain things, you can easily work with many different age groups around many different continents. But still, it is very hard to run or manage a game. There are visuals, there are audio elements. What kind of pricing are you going to have? What kind of software processes are you going to have in place? So even if you're running a small game, you must have dozens of decisions each day about the development of your game. So I think it's very hard to give you a checklist. It is a very complex system. It's a very complex process. So this actually, I think this process actually includes everything that you have decided upon from the very beginning day to the end of your launching period. You can change a lot of things as you go along the way. This is, after all, a process, a dynamic process. But I can't really give you a checklist, a clear-cut checklist, because I agree with Ezgi in that you must have very elaborate analyses in place. Sorry, already concluded, already conducted, to see which kind of markets you want to go into, what kind of age groups do you want to target, and what kind of people do you want to refer to, etc. Of course, you must get these done as early as you can. But first of all, you must try to get feedback. You can do it yourself, or you can go on other different platforms to get user feedback, because these serve very much into what kind of success you want to have, or what kind of games you want to develop or launch, because there is always this process of development, there is always this process of going forward. You must have metrics, KPIs, etc. in place. So one of the biggest shortcuts in terms of time is getting feedback from the player or the user directly. And also there is this thing for beginners, for new names in the market. I think you should not have too big or too long-term projects, because I think in 3 to 6 months, maybe 6 months at best, you will have great chance to get to know about the sector, about the actors, about the users, etc., etc. First of all, I think you must focus on retention, because at first, if you want to, if you focus on monetization, you generally do not become all that successful. But if you can just focus on retention, you can have more success. This is how it goes for most new names in the actor. I also believe that you cannot make a game more popular if it is not good. But you can have new iterations in place all the time, and you must try out new things. You must have new tests all the time. If you can just make the correct decisions in time, you can get to the correct point. But all of these, thank you. But all of these you have mentioned, we need one certain thing, one absolute thing for that, and that is money. And the general idea, the general belief of the gaming industry is that the more money you burn, the bigger and faster results you get. Now, I'd like to give the floor to uh, Ezgi, because MBT works on this on so many different actors with so many different industries. So, do you think that statement was true? I mean, do you really believe that the more you burn money, the more success it gets you in a faster way? I mean, yes, ads. The more you accommodate for your ads, the bigger a bigger group of people you're going to be able to get to. But at the end of the day, did you really get good retention rates? Or if because if you do not, or if you can't really engage with the customers, with the users, you cannot turn them into active customers or engaged customers, and you cannot get purchasing profits from them, etc., etc. So yes, if you do not have money, you get to the product stage, let's say, and you're done with it. Now want to market it. If you do not have money, if you do not have the money to do so, maybe you had a mistake in coming up with your plan beforehand. But of course, as important as budget is, you must also include some different things like optimization, marketing optimization. Of course, on the marketing side, we have this methodology which is called test and learn. We have small trials, right? With very small budgets, maybe we want to have an ad project on TikTok, and I'm waiting for a set number of downloads from that. So I try it out on TikTok, and if it's successful, maybe accommodate even more budget into this ad project, ad campaign. So uh, then you can try to create retention from the customers or the users you get from TikTok, etc., etc. But especially developers, maybe this can be your hidden ace up your sleeve. Maybe you can become influencers yourselves by streaming on Twitch or YouTube or other platforms. You can create a community because you really want to be on social platforms in which you have a target group. My favorite. Sorry, I'm going to ask you, which is your favorite? Which is your favorite free of charge for growth? Is it TikTok? Yes, maybe it can be TikTok, but it still depends on where your target group lies. It can be Twitch, it can be YouTube, it can be TikTok. If there are communities of gamers, or if there are communities of people who are interested in your games, etc. This can be very beneficial. I mean, guerrilla marketing sounds very sexy. I know this growth technique sounds very sexy, but unfortunately, there is no magic wand which you can just wave to make all your problems go away. You must have a mathematical or a data-based approach set in place. Now, people, if they see a success, if they have seen success with a certain method, maybe they can just share it on social media, or maybe they can just come up with a system in which people can just play with their friends. By the way, on Google Play, the most searched items were things like co-op games, how to play with games, etc. in Turkey. So if these elements are important about games, then I can think about things like how I can show it to people on social media that they can co-op with their friends. But in the background, of course. But before guerrilla marketing comes, I think we must have a clear-cut system in place, a holistic approach in place. That is the most beneficial.
Dolayısıyla ben
Gaming industry is about scale. Of course, it's not a requirement, but if you want to grow fast, you have to invest. You have to spend the money. Let's say the cost to retain a gamer is about $10, and you earn $20 from a gamer. For example, you have $10 of profit, so you have 100% profit. So you have examples of it, and you have cut it. Then you have to grow it. I have told you that if you want to have $10 million of revenue, you are going to need million players. You can use engine optimizations or advertisements. So you have to maybe in 6 months, in a year, you can reach this 1 million player by collaborating with a fund. So without spending money, I can't say it's impossible to reach somewhere, someplace, but it is very hard. For example, Wordle had zero marketing budget, but they had very clever marketing techniques on social media. For example, everybody must have played it. For example, those emojis that you can share after playing, it tells a story. You can understand what the player went through. This is intriguing to people to see how they are playing, and quickly clones have started to appear in App Store. The New York Times have done it. Or for example, the developer says that he just made it for his girlfriend, and in last couple of months it became something global. Of course, spending money is not a requirement, but if you're able to find some guerrilla tactics, of course it is possible. Farmville has grown that way, but you're going to have to be able to use those channels, and it is as hard as finding funding. So I believe in those ways, but at the end of the day, this is the way it works. I mean, do you think about it? If I had $1 million, for example, I to advertise with, and I would like to turn my company into a rocket? Of course, I think about that. Okay, let's continue with your expertise. As we know, everybody is talking about metaverse, and there are a lot of metaverse experts. And when you take a look at it, it's all augmented reality or virtual reality based business. So lots of people didn't know about these contexts, but you are developing these games, and I think you already have an AR VR studio. At first, I would like to ask you the question: how do you think metaverse will affect the mobile gaming industry? For example, would you would you say there will be more games in AR VR? I believe in the metaverse world vision. In 5 years, the world will be even more connected. But I think it is very building too much hype right now. Facebook even changed their names, but in 5 to 10 years, those softwares and hardwares will be improved, and I think it will become a very realistic world that we can connect with devices. But there are different AR, VR projects all around the world, and I think they can affect the current industry definitely. And gaming industry constantly feeds from innovation and increases their size through innovation. I think last year they have sold about 50 million VR devices, and it's increasing sales every year. But it is not a mass market, so at the end of the day, the market has about 20 million devices. So if you want to get some income from these platforms, you have to reach millions of players. So it's becoming profitable recently, but I think this vision is becoming a reality. But I think at the end of the day, metaverse will have a positive effect. But I think it is the start of the thing. So of course we are seeing weird stuff. For example, I had a land consultant on metaverse. There was a land consultant on metaverse. You know, conmen are going to be using this because it's very well known. So I think light, but I think there is take years gaming started. Nobody thought it will become a market like this, but in the last 10 years, we are talking about the mobile gaming that is taking 50% of this market. Hopefully, it will reach what we want, but it's the beginnings. So let's say I'm going to call it a wind of metaverse. So what do you think the changes will be in digital marketing? Very exciting because when we talk about e-commerce, we are talking about metaverse as well. Also in the gaming industry, we are talking about metaverse, and a lot of brands are existing in Roblox. For example, there are nightlands, and you can dress up your avatars by Gucci or Adidas or H&M. For example, they have virtual game park. You earn points and you dress up your avatar. For brands, this is a great platform for developing content, for marketing content as well. And for example, Fortnite has collaborations with musicians, concerts, and these are very interesting. And they are removing borders, and they are improving the experience marketing. And the brands, of course, will use it, and it will be a new channel for digital marketing. What I'm thinking is, for example, brands, for example, brands have to be where millennials and Gen Z are, so they can convey their messages. For example, brands have to be where Gen Z and millennials are. Today it would be Fortnite or Roblox, and tomorrow it will be somewhere else. So brands have to be in this area. So you can see the development of the platforms through these investments as well, and it's also increasing the interest in these platforms. Of course, brands are focusing on Gen Z, but for current technology, metaverse needs a lot of hardware, and hardware is not cheap. And Gen Z doesn't have that purchasable income and that disposable income to be able to purchase those hardware because of their age. Of course, we have limited time, so I'm not going to delve much more into that. But what I would like to ask you is, during the idea phase, or for example production phase, for the gaming entrepreneurs that want to develop a global product, what three, let me start. how early would you receive your feedback, it would be that much better. Also, knowing the market in whichever genre, whichever platform, to be able to know about it. And in the development sense, the area we call first time user experience, it is very important for a new game when the game is meeting with the player for the first time, the first session that is being played, it is very important to be planned what is going to be the player's experience, what are they going to meet, and what is the motivation for the player to open your game tomorrow as well. Of course, if they were to care about that first session, and if they were to adapt to the testing, and it will be very important for the success. What I can say is, first of all, you have to have cross-functional teams, not just having too many developers. You know, if you only have developers, you have to have a team thinking about the marketing, how I can engage the player in this manner, and a UX designer, a marketer, marketing expert, and understanding the target audience, and understanding why the gamer plays a game is very important to be able to understand that. And for the third point, for the future, these attribution models like AdFly or other ones, where all the data is flowing through, having these data systems is very important, and having these data focus systems from the day one is important so that these own experiences that onboard screens are very important, very crucial. So the cultural coding of your target audience. For example, what I can say is one of the games. For example, you would click on a cockroach, and that cockroach was named as a Kara Fatma in Turkish, and somebody has sent an email, and my son clicked the cockroach, and that cockroach said Kara Fatma, which but this child started crying, and because his mother's name was Fatma, so that then we changed that. For example, this is very important for global as well, because you have to be able to anticipate a lot, but you can't know everything. For example, you might have a language block, so you have to work with somebody that knows the culture and knows the language, so that you can prevent those small mistakes. In product, it is maybe enough to translate the product, but in gaming, it is not enough. Thank you very much for your contributions, and we are over our time. And thank you very much to everybody for listening to us. This is it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sual, Nida Nidali Uzungule, Baran Kushwal are the team A, and they are ready. On the other side, Nesli Demir, Okan Kras Balaban, Duru Batır, Zeler Işın Zerdarder Özdemir, and Kaan Kasapoğlu is ready. Now, before the match, we are going to ask them some questions about what they are doing to be able to inform you and to get to know them a little bit before the match. Now, I'm going to go forward with this. Let's start with the right side. Alright, now Burak Moshkuraz is with me in the team footballist. He's playing Valorant professionally. Hopefully, it will be a great competition. What are you guessing for who would be winning? Do you think you have a high chance? Yes, he's saying they think they are very strong. So, in the short term and the long term, personally, where would you target? What are your goals? Currently, I would like to continue in Turkey. Maybe in the future, I would talk about global. All right, now in Turkey, we have two sites in Valorant, both in Europe for our local league as well is continuing, and for today and for the league adventure, I'd like to wish you success. Now we have Ata Kaptantan, and he is with us as well. Ata, my question to you is about these games, not just for Valorant. When did you meet with games? When did you met gaming, and how long have you been gaming? I'm 20 years old, and when I was 10, I started playing with Counter Strike, and my brother was playing, and I've seen it from him. I played that game, and CS:GO is what I've played, Counter Strike Global Offense, and after that Valorant has started. And I've been playing it since the beta, since the game started, and I have been playing for 10 years, and I'm professionally playing Valorant right now. And they are the competitors of Footballist, and they are going to face them in the league. Do you have any guess for the team match? The better team should win, is what I'm going to say. This is a nice answer. Now we have Zeynep Vitesu Alp, and she has also came from the tournament. And now what I'm going to ask is, when did you realize that esports will be your profession? I mean, my dream was being a professional esports player. There are a very low number of female players, and that's why I tried really hard, and I've taken a year entirely for this, and I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and I decided to continue on that. So I think 10 to 15 years I've been playing games. Do you have any idea for the match results? I don't know, we'll see. So on the other side, one of our streamers, Zenidia, is with us. How are the streaming going? And also, in addition to esports, streaming is very serious as well. What about your personal streaming experiences, and what also started you on that journey? I mean, since I was little, I've been playing games, and I started streaming with IRL, and with that, I have realized that I can make it a profession for myself. It's going well. Do you have any guesses for the results of the game? I trust in my team. I have confidence in my team. Thank you very much. And from BBL Academy, from the agency, Baran is with us. Baran, I would like to ask you from for the academy on how is it going. The BBL Academy is going great, and for my own perspective, I am really glad to be part of that academy. And in each area, we are very successful in esports and academy as well. And great successes will come, I believe. And we are a great family, which is not just a company; it's also a family, I believe. And I'm very happy about that. And I think every day will be better than the last. Alright, thank you very much. Do you have any guesses for the results? I am going to say best team may win. It is again a cliche answer from Baran. Now let's continue with the gamers from the other side. Again, successful players from Valorant Game Changer. We would like to congratulate you for your performance. Now, do you have any guesses for the results of the game? For this match, I think it will be fun. It will be enjoyable. Alright, thank you. And we have Doğukan Crest Bayabank after having a successful CSGO career. Now he is with us and continuing. Do you have any ideas about the ending? I think it will be fun as well. It will be a great match. May the best team win. And Drew is with us, and he is also a streamer for BBL Academy. Now, I would like to get your opinions about the match. And when did you start gaming and streaming? What is the start of your adventure? Of course, I started 2.5 years ago. I started to stream, and in internet cafes I started. Now I've moved to Istanbul for this business. Now my life is about streaming. I'm studying in the university as well, but I would like to continue being a streamer. And thanks to BBL, I think we will reach great heights. And for the match, I am also going to say, may the best team win. Thank you very much. Hopefully, you will have a successful career. And Zenel is one of our streamers as well. What do you think about the match? And also, before that, where did your interest start from? Streaming and also gaming. Where did you start? Did you find an example, a role model? I always wanted to do that as well, but I couldn't have the courage to do that. But with this, I was invited to a YouTube video, so I received some viewers. So it generated me a place into which. So after joining the academy as well, it has become very serious. So what about the game? I trust my team. Hopefully they are not trusting in my abilities just. So alright, Kaan Kasapoğlu is next, and he's also from the TV and film industry, and he is continuing on that and as well, and he is somebody who has been introduced to streaming industry as well. So how are the streams going? Hello everybody. About streaming, I am very new, and I think it's a different profession for me. Hopefully it will be nice. So you have also included yourself as a content creator in this industry. So what do you think about the match? What would you be hitting? So I will hit three. Alright, let's continue. Our gamers are ready. We are ready to start. Let's start with the screen of agent selection. Of course, we have a lot of names who have proved themselves in esports, and we know them from their streams as well. Let's see how the match will take place. For people who don't know the game, it's a 5 versus 5. It has a spy plant side, and as we said, it is 5 versus 5. Every player selects an agent, and they use their agent's capabilities, and it's an FPS shooter game. Hopefully, it will be a great game. Both teams are ready. Now, both teams will be selecting their agents. Now our game is starting. Let's see which player has selected which one. Of course, each player have their own roles and agents in their teams, but because of this show match, we might see different agents as well. So let's see. Yes, slowly we are seeing some agents. Let's see which agents will be chosen. We are seeing Mikeo and Baran is showing King. On the left team, we are not seeing any agents. They are discussing their composition. Of course, each agent has a different skill, so having a good composition within the team is very important. There are defensive agents, there are offensive agents. So let's see the Killjoy is in right here, and Chiono is showing a jet, and Crux is not going to let Jet. I think Reina. We have Reinas. Alright, now we are reaching the final moments, and we are seeing a Phoenix on that, and we are having an Omen. I'm not seeing a Smoker character on the other team, but the defenders will be the attack captain, and the Crux team will be the offensive team for the first session. It is starting. Let's have a strong applause for both teams. Yes, in the defense side we have attack captain's team, and the offensive team is the Crux. Now players are starting with their defenses. Now last 15 seconds to the start of the first round. We can see the attackers are going forward with the B area, and of course they can be faking it, and we can see a fight in Nesanakame. The fight is ongoing, and we have losses, and Atakan has managed to fix it. Now it is 3 versus 2. They are using their S's and are moving back. They are moving forward, and they have another team now. Hidali is the last name. There is an attack going on, and unfortunately, he sees 2 gamers in front of it, but they didn't allow them. And the first round's winners are the team of Crux. The attackers have started well, and they attacked quickly, and after the first kill they have taken from the smoke, they have made a kill exchange after that. Yes, gamers, please only look at your own screens. Don't take a look at the stage. Now we are having a fight right here at the captain and all of them. Unfortunately, Crux has reached a place, and this has been a very chaotic strike, and this round is also right now 5v5, and Crux has 1 kill, and Baran is the last name, and Duro has been able to catch Baran, and this has been going on as a quick game, and they can't solve their attacks right now. I think all 5 games were blinded in that, but Attack Captain couldn't get any kills during that. Now we are seeing there's a very balanced kill disposition right now, and only 3 players have scores in the other team. Now they are purchasing their rifles.
And a possible mid attack wants to be prevented as early as possible. No clear-cut attack we can see right now. We see the attack spread around the map on Crux's side. This is, I think, a ulti orb. Mid wall we see a turret. There is no one in Bazaar right now, it is clear, but there is a possible 1 versus 2, but a very easy kill. Mosh was stuck in front of the door. This is ulti. Will bring her to life. And again, we see result of 3-1. Crax's team managed to wrap things up in this very complex round. And now again, Malta a great reaction and 2 kills and almost 3 kills, but Chayano gets the round 1 versus 1. And Atakaptan's team could not get a score as of yet. Actually, it was a great start to the round, but still, Crax's team gave great decisions. Again, we see a pass with an out by only Moss. Purchase something and sheriffs and specters. We see the other players of the captain is going forward. It's clear that no one is there in the passage, but Moses getting another kill. There's another skull. And Zeldalar could not shoot through. It is now 4-2. Moj's team is almost on its way to get their first round. Moj changed weapons and found his 3rd kill in the round. Now Zeldalar is the only name left. Sorry, it's Guru actually, who is on their way to the B. So we see a defense of A with 3 people. See 1 player in the bazaar, but yes, Guru could not live through the attack. So Moj's team had their first round. It was very important for them economically as well to find a second breath. Now China has an operator choice, but actually gave it to Crux, who is actually not accepting the weapon. China was actually having an early short rush, and Crux with 2 entries and by using the slow makes things go even faster. We see a great flash. By the way, we can see the side from this side, but we can see no pick happening as of yet. And again, 1 more kill by Crux. Is Crux on his way to trouble? No, actually, China with the operator gets another kill, and they already have their ulti, and Slian with the final pick. The team a win without any losses, any deaths. Of course, it was a very trying round. I guess no one expected it to go so smoothly for them, but Ness's team won it in the end. Now we may see once again an equation on or aggression on A. As with the smoke falling in on the short side, we see turning to the other side. Zelda is in the market right now, but the aggression on the right-hand side actually gave results, and it's a very important entry. The attack should now turn to the B side. They should have support from Baran, and yes, we see Baran's support falling short with the Prevention and Rita without getting any kills. Fell down and Atakel. And Nidali actually is going through the team by the stealthy route. That is she going to be able to get the round? No, Crux doesn't let it happen. With his low health, the successful player prevents the stealthy attack, the flank. Mojo's team is actually losing to control, even though they are the defending side. I'm trying to have a read of their expressions. The captain seems very satisfied with how things are going. On the A side, we see aggression once again, but of course, we're just going to A. Again, the weapon choices do not seem to be in order or in compliance with each other. And Ness uses another ulti. Rita managed to escape in the last second from the conflict, and China is going to stay in the ulti. Atakapan did not even look at her, but still they got the score, and all of a sudden the round, everything turned upwards down. This is going to be the only player left. Ness finds 4 players. This is almost having success in a 1v5. Let's see if she's going to succeed, but no. Ness almost had a 1v5. Not affected by the flag, but still the captain's team won the round. Ness still a great performance. The score is 5-2. We are almost nearing our first half. There are again going to be 2 players on this A side. Let's see. There is aggression focused on this side. Atakaptan uses send. The advantage actually goes even bigger. Ness uses another ulti. Entry to another player, and the attacking sides, Killjoy used another great ulti. Prax found 2 kills, but will we be able to find 3 time? She wants to have timing. Rita had great timing. 2 kills after all. Is he going to have clutch? Yes, she did. Rita is defusing Spike right now. It was a 5v1 and gave second breath to her team in a very critical moment. Two Shiny players who were present in Game Shiny, Game Changers, we see their presence here as well. Again, the attack is spread all throughout the map. We see an ulti being used by Jet. Ness tried to get info, but Ness didn't want to show herself, so Crux will be able to find the kill. Crux was not able to escape. Now Drew got a kill. Is it enough to get the round? With the Guardian, Momoja gets a great score. Ness's team can still win the round. Adele is the only person left on the defense side. There's still waiting on B, but before Delia could deliver Spike, Baran, great success. Blue was bitten by the wolf. Maybe she will not be able to get out of there. Baran is using the knife and getting the score. Baran gets the score against Duru with his knife. There is almost this blood feud. Baran showed great use of skills. Duru cannot even get her eyes open before She faces the blurry of knives. Now we see that the situation is 5-4. The attacking side seems to choose side A. Moshe is turning the other way right now because they are hearing the sounds, and there is an aggression with 5 people on the other side. Baran is using his skills once again, but is actually a bit premature in this time. Weapons do not seem to be enough as people go through clips very fast. There is a recharge time, and Atakaptan, while he was trying to get out of the situation, got one shot by Crux. Again, we see player after player falling down, and all of a sudden, Atakaptan team has to weather the storm. Atakaptan told Rita to protect him while he defuses the spike. Falls down. Sendeler gets a kill. Atakaptan left Ninja and got the round. It's 5-5. We saw a very big difference in the initial stages of the game, but with Atakaptan's great plays and Rita's clutch, and also of course Baran's flank defense, side defense, we see things going in favor of Baran and Atakaptan's teams. On the B side, we see an attack. Kaptan, by the way, he found a very important score, but there is a revive. There is a revival, another score. We see a trade-off of 2 scores. There's a bit of everything going on on the side. Rita is going through with her clip and found 3 scores. Great defense going on by Rita. Crux and she are on a 1 versus 1 right now. Crux has only 4 health left. It doesn't seem that Crux's ulti is going to be out of its cooldown. And the spike is set. I think Rita has seen Crux by his heels. Let's see what will happen in this stage. To round Crux. Just going to bite Rita. Actually, Crux actually managed to get the round with 4 health and actually suicides by falling from the height. Crux had this incredible clutch. After this round, the sides are going to change. Attack Captain made a mistake in throwing the knife, and of course they could not get any part of that. Now we see a fast attack with a mess, which how many ultis has it been? I could not count, and sees a new player and tries to shoot him down, but Chayanov did she win the fight actually? As Baran goes to pick this side, Baran goes into first fight, but Crux doesn't give him the floor to live the fight. Crux lives another smoke in heaven, Rita found another kill by the way. In the meantime, we see a curtain being put forward. Rita doesn't see anything, but actually Crux gets another kill. along with the turret. Crux mentioned how his mouse was bad at the beginning of the game, but now he doesn't seem to be caring about it at all. Crux found his third kill in the round in total, and now we see 18 kills by him, and truly we see these great performances put forward by the professional players. Of course, the duels, the conflicts going on are incredible, but we also see some action on the sides as well. The streamers. Ness is going to throw a lineup molly on the A entrance of the A side. Now we'll be watching Attack Captain on the attacking side. Profire by Crux. Now they are going to A. Both sides are hearing sounds. France sends a flash. Drew hides behind column, but now her position was compromised. The game is rapidly going to go into the other side. Seydalar is playing very wise on this. They've already pushed so much. Chayanov is giving in for teammates. Crux's fights are very important. Rita came from behind and found the score at the captain. Chayanov is placed inside. Very good position with a smoke and step. And Chayanov, very bad timing on turning around. We see a kill from Rita and Drew. It seems that it seems a very impossible clutch. 1v4. But we have seen so many clutches, so it would not be impossible. But still, Rita found the score. And 6-7. I mean, this was a very critical round. Rita is again and leading the team. This has been a very enjoyable game so far, which has been going very close.
En az bir ismin olduğunu biliyor. Yalnız
You can see there is one more name in the side, and the HP is very low, but he's gonna heal himself, and he's taken a lot of damage, and the captain caught that, and they have to backtrack, and nice, he doesn't take a backtrack, he got caught while he was jumping, and Baran is currently uses his abilities, and he has to reload. Unfortunately, he couldn't receive the support, and there's a great kill right now. 8-6 right now. They won the Echo, and they have the advantage now again. The economy is off. That's why they have to be more careful, the players of the both teams. Rita is right now. Of course, Baran is taking this kill, and one of the players have down, and there's a great lineup right now. Simultaneous kills from teammates. Another kill right now, and they dodged the bird as well. They are still looking for a pick, and they are still going for the fight. They found the third kill, and they are continuing with. But he doesn't realize there is a player on the right, and they got the kill. But now Guardian has a great performance. Now they found another kill, and it's 9-6. They have won the bonus, and now they are taking great steps to win the match. I'm taking a look if we are going to take a break, but they don't want a break. Excuse me? Yes, tactics has been decided before the match. Yes, now there's an important play. Atakaptan has also get the kill, and unfortunately, Atakaptan also found another kill, and now the only name left is Drew and Chayanov, and they are caught as well. Only one loss, and they received what they wanted. And this was an important round. Well, the match was living. Now the difference is down to 7 versus 9. Now the difference is only down to 2. Usually the running away team is usually the other side. Now flashes are effective, of course. They caught 2 players, and it is going for the short right now. China has a great paranoia. It was a very smart move, but they don't let it move, and there's a very crowded, and Amaran has again a flash that is useful, and Crux is now rotating, and they found Rita, and Atakaptan is helping his teammate again, and now Zeldaner is left alone, and unfortunately there are a lot of people on him, and they've used their skills on him, and Baran is receiving the assist, and Atakaptan has knifed him, and now the difference is down to 1. We said we were reaching the end of the game, but they are not ready to give up yet, so our valuable observer is showing that it is 8 to 9. Yes, the score is 8 to 9, and economically, the part that is in the hardship for economical sense is the team of Nesrin. Now, Christ has opened the HP is Atakaptan in the second half has found his mojo, and Atakaptan wants a fight. He went to an area to shoot, and another kill from Rita as well. It's a very clean round, and they didn't make any mistakes. And now the score is equal from 9 to 5. They have come to 9 to 9, and scores are equal now. Again, in the A point is crowded very much. They are going to turn down the A. A has been walled off, and at the same time, flash has been used, and Atakaptan has the ult again, and Rift has received a very important kill, and they have a great position. Krax couldn't get more than 1 kill, they couldn't let him, but the defense is very important. Rita is the name that is left, and where Ness is not known, and he's alone, and he has picked up a weapon from the ground, and now they are coming closer. Let's see what they can do. 1 versus 2. The timing is great. When we were looking at the guard, it was a bad timing. Nest has taken the timing, and Nestle is left currently. And I don't want to talk about the placement. It's 1v1 currently, and now Spike Diffuse Plant is not taking a point. Nidali couldn't catch it, and it is clutch. So Nest has won the 1v1 and they have the time they were able to defuse the bomb, so it was a bad timing for Nestle, and especially for 1v1 it was a great game currently, and again they've taken the lead now with 19 kills. It's a great performance. The score is 10 versus 9, and they didn't let them go forward since the start of the match, and for the first step the defenders are taking the first step, and Ness has used his abilities, and Baran decided to go over and has taken a kill, and the wall has been set up. They have sent a flash, but it wasn't effective. Rita could be in that area, so there's a great flash on that area, and they have to get away. They have to reach the city, so there's also an attack coming from the other side. There are great kills. The second kill from Rita, and he is unstoppable. Let's see. He has been found, and Nidali has got the kill and has taken a revenge. And Chayano has come from the behind and found Rita. It is 2v2. It was 2v2, but Atakan didn't allow them to escape. We found them, and there's a great flash right here, and Atakaptan has created the rotation, and they didn't allow the rotation. The scores are equalized again. We are coming close to the end of the match, but the two teams are very evenly matched. Let's see who is going to be the winning side. If it reaches to 12 by 12, we will be going forward to 14 points. It is 10 versus 10 now, and there's an attack to A, and there's a trial for wall shooting, and there's a slow in that area, and they're using the abilities. Flashes are also out, and there's a good flash right now, and Ross found 2 kills, and Crux is still alive, and Crux is alone, and Crux has another headshot. This is a great defense, but this is all he can do. That's all that he can do. 3 kills was not enough for him. Now it's 11 to 10. This is the first time the red team is leading, and it is the most important point in the match to be for leading. The difference in score is only 1. Rita has used the turret, and as a lurker is going to reach to the mid, and teammates are going forward with B. There's another wall hack, and we can say that a lot of damage has been made. Now Atakaptan has taken a lot of damage, and the answer has given immediately, and Baron has received the trade, and now attackers has the position 2 versus 3. Another kill from Moja as well, and Chayanov is the last name. Kaan Kasabolu. Let's see what they can do. 1 versus 3. They were able to dodge it, and the first name got caught, and this was a great Perone, and some players have got caught. 2 players couldn't help them. Flush has been used. Is this another knife? Baron has caught in this short range, and Spike is about to be exploding. They have to find them immediately under the food, and his time still was great, and received the game point, and the final point is here. If they win this round, they will win the match. Now they have taken almost the entirety of the match leading, but at the end of the match, they have the other team has caught a great streak. So they've used the ability early and they are going forward with the mid. They're trying to control early, and there is also defense as well. Now Rita has found the entry, and every position is an advantage, and this is a great use of that. And this didn't change the round. Now they are going forward them, and the only name was Drew, and Baran has got her. This was a great competition. Every game has a winner and loser. Mozla Kaptan, Rita, Nidelia, and Baran has won. I would like to congratulate them all, and also losers. I would like to thank them for their effort as well. Eskak Duruz Elderler and Kaan Kasapoğlu are the losers today. Thank you all for your efforts. This was a great competition. I'd like to thank them all individually, and thank you everybody for watching us as well. Yes, after this great match, I would like to give the floor to dear Ersin Düzen as well. Thank you to our players again. I would also like to take an applause to Ebra as well, because there are actions forever. So football games usually stop, for example. This is constant action, so it is very hard on the presenter as well. So congratulations to you as well. Now let's take a memorial photo with our players. You have shown your efforts and it was a great game. Thank you very much. Let's get on the stage and take a picture.